We grew up being taught to hate each other. Taught to fight for the scraps of male attention like it's some prize. Taught to compete with each other because apparently there's only room for one of us at the table. And while a lot of us may not know it, we are still playing by this outdated misogynistic rulebook. Being a girl's girl is not a vibe. It's not a cute TikTok trend and aesthetic. It's a rebellion. It's calling out internalized misogyny. And it's choosing sisterhood over ego every single time. I am so excited to make this video. I really want to make more videos about mastering the mindset of just being a good person so that you have that reassurance that you are moving and treating other people in the best way possible. I also just wanted to clear up all of the confusion on what it means to be a girl's girl. So disclaimer, being a girl's girl is not about liking everyone. It's not about being a people pleaser. It's not about letting go of all of your boundaries and trying to be friends with everybody. You don't have to like everybody. I've said it so many times in my video. I don't think it's healthy for anybody to like everyone. I think it's very healthy to know who you like and dislike. Being a girl's girl is simply how on a day-to-day basis we think about women and we treat women, whether it's a stranger on the street, and how we cultivate a more woman-centered mindset so that when we do meet the like-minded girls, we can actually connect and build a stronger, more loving future together where men grow powerless in trying to pit us against one another. Before we start, I want to give a big thank you to Squarespace who have sponsored today's video. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform that is designed to help you stand out and build your brand online no matter what your expertise. You could be just starting out and just have the idea to start a business and it was your New Year's resolution for 2025, but you literally don't know where to start, you have no knowledge, or you could be super experienced with having a business, you could have been doing it for years and you're ready to take it to the next level. Squarespace has all of the tools integrated into their website building platform to help you achieve either one of these goals, whether you sit at either end of the spectrum or right bang in the middle. I think a really important thing to consider when you're launching a business is, yes, your product has to be good and your website has to be professional. We already know all of that. But when you have poured in all of the work to perfect your actual business, how are you going to make sure you actually get traffic to the site? And this is where SEO comes into play. It is so important and I wish I knew it earlier. And what's really great about Squarespace is they can make sure that you get discovered fast with their built-in SEO tools. Every single website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more. This way, you show up more on search engines and bring in more of your ideal customers. But speaking of mastering your business product, I think that this is always super hard to land on, especially if you're new in the business and you want to choose something that's a little bit more low maintenance and isn't going to break the bank. Custom merch is an option that a lot of people go for. And putting out merch's products has never been easier with Squarespace because all you have to do is simply design the design you want maybe on a merch t-shirt or a hat. And then Squarespace themselves handled all of the production, the inventory, and the shipping. So then all you have to do is focus on the design that you wanted. I love that because all of the logistics and all of the shipping is honestly the hardest part of running a business. If it could all be design, I would love it, and Squarespace has made sure that that's possible. You guys can go to squarespace.com/tamcore to sign up and get started. And using my link, you'll also get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Okay, chapter number 1 is breaking down what is versus is not a girl's girl. And of course, I'm gonna bring in my favorite girls, Lola and Athena, to break down the difference to you. But before we get them involved, I wanna first talk about the common misconceptions of what this actually means. First of all, you do not need to yell compliments at strangers across the street or compliment every single woman you come across if you are on the shyer side or if you're a little bit socially awkward. As somebody who was a former socially awkward girl and is still kind of growing out of that on a daily basis, I understand how hard that is. That is not a requirement, so don't worry. If that is a bit of you, absolutely go and do that. Because really it's all down to helping women. Like telling a woman she's got lipstick on her teeth, telling her to text you when she gets home, offering advice, letting her know if the guy that she's talking to is like moving crazy. An example of this is many years ago, I was on the tube in London and it was like late evening and this guy would not stop staring at me. And I was so uncomfortable and I just had this gut feeling that the second I get off this tube, this man is gonna follow me. And I was so terrified because I was on my own in London at that time. I also didn't live in the city. So what I did was I got off the tube and I started speed walking. This man followed me down a set of stairs that no one else on that tube was going. So it was just me and him. I was terrified. Anyways, I go down this set of stairs and all of a sudden I'm on a different platform with a different tube. And there's a bunch of people waiting to get on this tube. He's still following me. So I run up to 2 random girls that were waiting for this tube and I was like, hey, this guy's following me. Is it okay if I just stand with you and act like we're together? Immediately, no question asked, not even a hesitation. They were like, yeah, of course, how are you? And then I turn around, the guy turns around and leaves. So these 2 girls could have very well saved my life. And then I ended up getting onto the tube with them the entire journey. They weren't even talking about the situation. They were getting to know me. We were sharing how our days went. We were learning about each other for like that 20-minute journey. And it was so nice. It took like what could have been such a traumatic experience to a lovely story I actually end up telling all the time. Now that we have that kind of basic foundational understanding of it, we're gonna bring in Lola and Athena to really give you examples of unique ways and signs that you'll see that somebody is a girl's girl versus is not through the things that they would say. Lola is not a girl's girl. And you know what? She doesn't even know it. She's not even trying to be a woman hater. She has female friends herself, but she does have a little bit of internalized misogyny. She is a little bit boy crazy and she does crave that validation. And so that has always been number one priority in her life rather than uplifting and supporting women, which is the entire concept of being a girl's girl. It's literally just about women supporting women and banding together. Athena, on the other hand, she was there. She was in the exact place as Lola. She struggled with her mindset. She had a lot of female friendship trauma. She really struggled on this journey, but she decided to educate herself and change her mindset and change her actions. And now she is the biggest girl's girl ever. And this is the difference. Oh my God, did you see how spoiled she is? I heard her man pays for everything she does. Like, talk about dependent. I mean, I bet she's just using him anyway. Okay, slay. Looks like she got what she wanted in her relationship. I just hope he treats her right as well. Ah, that girl is dancing over there in the club with my situationship. What a slut. She's not even good enough for him anyways. Plus, did you hear? I heard she gets with so many guys. Ah, my situationship is over there dancing with another girl. You know what? My future husband would never. That is such an egg. I'm cutting him off. What is she even wearing? She looks like a mess. You know, she's so insecure. You can tell how hard she tries to be noticed. Like, who would even wear that here? What a tryhard. Hey, look at that girl's outfit over there. So cool, right? I love seeing people with a unique personal sense of style. She looks great. Hey, why were you talking to that guy over there? Yeah, but just like be careful because other people probably saw you and it's kind of like embarrassing that you went up to a guy. You know, reputation is really important. I'm just trying to look out for you, okay? Hey, look at that guy over there. He's so cute and he's so your type. You need to go say hi. No, you absolutely need to. You're gonna regret it. Listen, I'll come with so then you feel more confident to say hi. You see the difference? It's all very subtle and it's all in that person's priority. Whether they're seeing women as competition or whether they're seeing them as allies and trying to lift them up. The women who are not girls are very boy heavy. They're very competitive. They don't want to see you win. They're definitely insecure. They will tear a woman down at any opportunity possible because it lifts them up. Women that are not girls are also so strict and so judgmental. Like, oh my God, she wears so much makeup, or why is she dressed like that? Or it's so weird that she cares about that, or she does that, or she eats in that way. Like, it's just too much. It's like they have so many rules because they are constantly trying to bring others down to make themselves feel better. Especially in an environment where there are a lot of guys, and this is where the pick-me girl is born because she is always trying to put herself on a pedestal and always trying to say like, I'm not like other girls. That is not a compliment, okay? All women should want to be like other girls because girls are effing amazing. Why would I not want to be like another woman? What, that other woman over there that's so beautiful? That other woman over there that has 3 degrees? That other woman over there that overcame every single challenge life threw at her and she's still standing on her own 2 feet and is so effing independent? I don't want to be like them. What? Now that we know what it looks like, that leads us on to chapter number 2. Why are women not girls? I've spoken about a few of the reasons already, but here I really want to break down some of the subtle ways it can creep into our lives and maybe even make you realize right now, the person that's watching this video, that maybe you have some of these traits and it's not entirely your fault. Maybe you've been thinking and acting this way from a subconscious point of view because throughout our entire lives we have been taught that it's more favorable not to be a girl's girl, and that's the more normalized way of being. So I think just bringing more awareness to how this can come about can help us break out of these damaging patterns. So point 1 is we were all raised to compete with each other, especially with this notion that there's only ever room for one of us. So you can either be the prettiest woman in the room or the smartest woman in the room. And oftentimes I've seen so much these two types of women compete against each other and tear each other down. So like the smart one will be like, all she's got is looks, and the pretty one will think her looks are so important that she'll just tear down the looks of the other woman. Or you'll have like the funny woman who really tries not to be like either of those other women. We're taught to see each other as threats, whether it's for the validation of other people, whether it's for the validation of a man, whether it's building up our own confidence by basically saying, I'm really different from you and I don't want to be like you in any case, and that means that you are below me. But really, we shouldn't threaten each other, we should be teammates. While we are all different, these three women have such different skill sets and different passions and different ways in wanting to present themselves, they can all equally get along or just support each other from a distance. Or bare minimum, just not judge each other or put each other down. Then we have point number 2, which is pick me culture, where women have actually been rewarded for trying to pretend like they're not like other girls. And I feel like this is something that men especially have definitely put onto us. I've spoken to guys before that think like this and speak like this, and they use it as a compliment that, oh, you're not like these other girls, or, you know, you don't do this like them, yada yada yada. And because we get that validation, that approval, it keeps us in this cycle of wanting to continue to act like that and separate us from other women doing things that we probably do like, and just hiding that part of ourselves and suppressing it, whether it be femininity, whether it be a way of talking or acting, or the standards that we set. It's especially how this desirable trait of being the easy, cool going girlfriend was born as well, because it's like a guy will talk about his ex like, oh, she was so crazy, or she just wanted so much from me. So then just to gain his approval, especially, again, this stems from insecurity, because you want to gain a guy's approval in the first place. A self-assured, confident woman wouldn't think like that. But if an insecure woman hears that, she's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be like her because she clearly was crazy. That's another sign right there. Taking a man's word for what he's saying about another woman. And then she is going to make herself super easygoing and super cool. And then point number 3 is just having a scarcity mindset. Because if you really believe that there's not enough to go around and not everybody can be joyful or in a loving relationship or successful or wealthy, then you are going to fight to push off every single woman that could be in the same room as you or sat on the same table as you with those same opportunities to make sure that you get it instead. It fuels jealousy and sabotage and competition, when truthfully, this isn't even the reality of how the world works. There is enough room for everybody to succeed. And having said this, I think another telltale sign of a woman being a girl's girl is getting other women opportunities, hyping them up when they're not even in the same room as you. And that leads us onto our final chapter. Chapter number 3, how to be a girl's girl in everyday life. These are some practical actions that you can take so that you can make sure that you are being more of an ally, you are supporting women, you are uplifting them, you are not continuing old, outdated rule books and systems that mean that we hate against each other, and we abandon the power that we could be having if we just all were on the same team. Okay, action number 1 is compliments in any way you want to do it, of course, but one of the most effective, like bestest ways I think to do this is complimenting a girl in front of her date or her boyfriend. I've had this done to me and it is the best I've been feeling ever, especially if you're like on a first date or you've just started speaking to somebody and a girl comes up to tell you how hot you look. It's like an unspoken like girl code that we have, but I just love it. Like, I think it's so important to normalize celebrating each other out loud, normalize giving other women their flowers and not talking down on them because they're dressed up or because of whatever they're doing. I gotta say, having this experience of me complimenting women in public or just women coming up to me like out of the blue, I could be anywhere, I could be by myself or with friends or like with a date, and them saying that helped me so much in my own journey. I was someone who had gone through a lot of negative experiences with female friendship, and it got me to a point where I was so traumatized and I had such a scarcity mindset because I felt like I couldn't, not that I couldn't trust women, but just I was very intimidated of that space. I was very intimidated of female friendships, and it turned me into the kind of person that I don't want to be, and it was just not a nice mindset to have. At one point for a phase, I was mostly just friends with men. Yeah, I know. But I have to say, just women being so open in how pure their hearts are and how kind they are, and just being openly loving to me without me having to even do anything first, really allowed me to just step out of that space and just be more open to being a girl's girl. Action number 2 is telling a girl the truth rather than laughing about it behind her back, especially when it comes to like guys behaving badly and sending that text or sending that DM, even if it's a girl you don't know. Now, I know this is a bit of a tricky situation, and on the one hand, you know, you don't want to like interfere with somebody's life, or you know, maybe you don't have all of the facts. But on the other hand, maybe you know what it's like and you want to let that girl know, hey, I saw your boyfriend doing this, or the guy you're talking to is cheating on you, or he slid into my DMs, here's a screenshot, and you want to protect other women. And you know, a lot of the time you're not going to get the response back from them that you want, and that's fine, but I do think it's always important to consider. Once I actually had a girl DM me because I had been on 2 dates with a guy. She DM'd me and she goes, that guy is like, they had been in a talking stage for like 4 months and he told me none of this. And he was talking about making me his girlfriend and all of these things. And apparently he had told everybody about me. Whole time he had like a whole other girl that he'd been dating regularly for nearly like half a year. My mind was blown. Anyways, she texted me, she was like, I just want to let you know, here are all of the receipts of like, he told me he was going to this place, but really like in my timeline, it added up that he was with me. It was crazy. So you know what I did? I didn't accuse her of lying. I didn't make a whole big deal out of it. I literally texted the guy. I was like, you're sick. I unfollowed him on everything. I was like, don't talk to me again. Then I actually ended up running into this girl on a night out like a couple of days later, and then like we gave each other a hug, and then we were just laughing about the situation, and we had a little dance together. That, to me, perfect way to handle that type of situation. On the other hand, holding my hands up here, a long time ago when I was in a long-term relationship and I was very insecure and I was very dependent and obsessed with one of my exes, a girl actually DM'd me and she said to me that this guy was messing around. So I just called him and I said, listen, this girl had texted me, what's going on? He completely accused her of lying and being crazy, and I believed him and I didn't believe the woman. And that is just unfortunate, but it's something that will never happen again. Action number 3, super easy and practical, share opportunities, whether it's recommending a friend of yours that does photography and speaking of them highly in rooms that would benefit them even if they're not there, reposting one of their achievements on your Instagram story, or just hyping them up in the comments, recommending women for jobs, introducing them to people that you know they could collaborate with. Why? Because this is you reinforcing the belief that there very well is enough room for everybody to succeed. I've done this. I have quite a few friends in creative field. One of my friends is a model, and because I'm in the creative space, I've had her hired on shoots when the people that I was working with didn't know who to hire. I have a friend who's a photographer. She's photographed one of my events. I've hired her for other things. And now, because she actually photographed my very first event that I ever did, I've now recommended her to other influencers. And that's just such an easy way. It's like a win-win for everyone. The influencer gets a photographer for her event. My friend gets hired for something. We love to see it. Another way to do this is to hire women. So obviously I run my own business and I have my own team, and I didn't understand the importance of this at the beginning. I think my mindset was just hiring who I could find, and I was just very like rushing the whole process. Now 99% of my team, all women. I think I literally only have like one man on my team. And it definitely wasn't that way when I started, and I'm so glad I made that change. The gender pay gap unfortunately still exists, and the only way that we can start to combat that is making those changes in our personal lives first, and also just spreading awareness and educating ourselves on it. If you guys go to the Young Women Trust's website, you can actually learn more about this. They roll out all of the statistics so that you can learn about it. Young Women Trust is a women-based charity. I work with them closely. I also donate to them every single month, so I definitely recommend checking them out. Again, donating to a women's charity is just another way to do it. Action number 4, the way that you speak about somebody who's not in the room says everything about you and your character and your mindset. So I mean like defending a woman if men are making jokes about her, or defending her when there are sexist remarks made, or there are rumors or backhanded comments or judgment, because loyalty doesn't need an audience, and you need to be an ally to women regardless of whether they're watching you or whether they'll know it or not. Action number 5, gatekeeping is out. Be a resource, not a rival. If you figured something out, whether it's a skincare product that changed your life or a career hack, please share it. Talk about it in your circle with women you know. If somebody you just met is expressing their need to like learn about something, share it. Don't gatekeep it because you feel like, again, there's not enough for everybody to go around. I have spilled all of my favorite secrets to women I've met at networking events or influencer events. I have this YouTube channel where I share with you guys everything I know, and I never hold back on anything. I can promise you that. But I think also just the very process of me doing that, and of me reading your guys' comments and trying to provide as much value as I can, just me doing those actions keeps cultivating that abundance mindset where every woman can win and every woman can be the best version of herself, and it doesn't take away from me ever. And then the last action is probably the easiest one yet, and that's to believe women. Whether it's about harassment or a bad date or just about maybe her negative experiences, let's not shift blame. Let's not be compassionate. Let's start listening instead of doubting or judging or thinking that she must be crazy or PMSing or emotional or that she deserved it, and putting men in seats where we believe that they are always going to be right no matter what, especially if we have literally no evidence. Let's just start by supporting women who just want to be listened to in the first place. And that brings us to the end of this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit of a different one, but I actually really enjoyed this topic. Let me know what you thought. Let me know which part of the video was your favorite. Let me know which actions you're going to implement. implement. Thank you so much for getting to this part of the video. I'm so proud of you. I love how invested you are in becoming a better person and in becoming a girl's girl. Be sure to check out all of my links below in the description. I've written a newsletter, I have a journal, I have an entire book that teaches you self-love, I have another YouTube channel where I have vlogs. There are so many things, I couldn't even say it in a sentence right now, so just go down to the description and you can check it all out. Thank you so much for watching, I appreciate you, and I'll see you same time next week for a brand new one. Bye!